So you have these young people out here trying to find their way in inner cities and in a society that have shipped all of the jobs overseas that were available in the inner cities. All of the good factory, good paying jobs that used to be in these inner cities, they've outsourced them and shipped them all overseas. Okay, they're trying to find their way. And the other jobs that were left here in our community, where that were still factory jobs where people could go and work, and were hiring major people. If they weren't outsourced, then they fell victim to vulture capitalism, which is a brand of capitalism that falls under the umbrella of code, also capitalize on dehumanization economically. Big, huge capital companies, they come in, they take over the company, they call it restructuring the company. Prime example, Hostess. Your Hostess Twinkie, okay? Prime example. These capitalists, they come in, they take over the company, they lay off and fire the most of the employees. They keep some on while they go in and see all of the assets that they have value in, that are in the company, and that they want, the ones that are still of value. They may own a building somewhere, they may have some big hardware equipment or anything of value. They identify it. Now they own it. They're telling the employees, we're restructuring your company, and the employees are thinking they're coming in to make the company better. They take up all of the assets that the company still has. Now, mind you, of course, the company has to be in hard times if these people came in. So, of course, the company is in debt. It may still have some assets, but it's in tons of debt. The management probably wasn't running the company properly. They probably was making some bad business decisions, and boom, so they were in desperate need of help, and they reached out, unfortunately, and they had no choice but to reach out, or the doors were going to be closed. So these people come in, they say, yeah, we'll come in and we'll help your company. They come in and they help themselves to the company. They enrich themselves off of the company. They take all of the assets, they sell all of the assets and make a profit off of it, right? They load that current company up with tons of debt. And most times in this form of capitalism, when they come in, we call it vulture capitalism. They call it something else. I won't even justify it by calling it that. It's code, capitalizing on dehumanization economically. They come in, they pick it apart, and then they turn around to the company and they load it up with debt and they off. And the company got to figure out if they want to continue to operate with that load of debt. They in a worse situation than they were when they got with them. So now every single company that they deal with, that doesn't happen. That's not the case in every one. But I'm labeling vulture capitalism on the companies that does happen to. So it doesn't apply to the ones where they're going in and they actually help the company and the company turns out to be able to go on. But in our book, this shouldn't happen to any company. In our book, when hundreds and thousands of families just get laid off and you get to go make a profit, no. No. And if you want to call that capitalism, then just call me a competitor to your brand of capitalism. Call our organization your competitor. So we're going to compete for those families. We'll compete for the right to be able to do that to those families. All right? That's what code enforcement is about. But back to our individuals, the crown jewel of our program. Now we have these young people. Remember, I'm talking about these young people who are in our inner cities, All right? Because the dehumanization process is the young people in our inner cities have been labeled and branded as less subhuman, less than human, animals, killers, criminals, crooks, villains. Our young people have been labeled and branded as that. I mean, successfully branded, almost like Super Bowl ad campaign type branded of our young people labeled as subhuman. So much so that when you talk about issues like these, about them not being able to find gainful employment or whatever, society has been trained to be like, oh, they deserve to be in that situation. Oh, they've earned that. Oh, they're villains. Oh, they've created that where no, they haven't created that system. For generations and generations, they've been born into a system that was created for them, and we lay it out. We will show you exactly, dating back hundreds of years, how this systematic George Zimmerman mindset, code, capitalizing on dehumanization, has created the situation that you see in society. And now our young people have choices which aren't choices. When the only thing available to you is a street corner to make money, or an educational system, which is also code in their system. The school system has not gotten better over all of these years, and everybody is talking like education is the key out. Education is the key out. But was it even designed for the student? We lay out that the educational system was designed for the industrialists who were looking for a good labor force. Enrichment. All right? It was not designed with the student in mind. It was designed for the employer who needed a good workforce that was trained. Sit down when I ring a bell, get up when I ring a bell, stay in a line, work this assembly line. That's what the educational system in our country was created. That's the foundation of it. That's what it came out of. Now, there are some institutions that educate well and take education seriously. But I am talking about these public schools systems that are feeder systems to dropout factories that produce hordes and hordes of low and uneducated students dropping out in droves. That's what we're talking about.